Yo, how's it going? And Skyline, and welcome to my channel. So, another week, another reset on Destiny, with a full breakdown on what's happening this week on the 14th of November, week 13 of the season. And the new season is fast approaching. So, let's take a look on what's happening in Destiny this week. But before we do, if you could hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, helps me out helping my channel grow and for me to create more content. So let's jump straight in to see what's in store for us this week. So, for the PvP gurus out there, we have the return of the Iron Banner and another chance for anybody to be able to get the new emblem or the new shader for this season. Or if you're after the two new legacy weapons for the season, the point of the stag bow or the guiding light scout rifle, or the returning D1 armor set called the companion set, or if you're still after completing any triumphs or completing the seal. We also have this week's the rotation weekly exotic mission and legendary dungeon available. We also have this week's Grandmaster and Adept weapons available. And moving on to the weekly rotation raid King's Fall, and not forgetting the Master Croacher challenge of the week, which is the easiest one, and it's conservation of light. So don't miss out. So, for the PvP gurus out there, let's kick off with Iron Banner returns. It'll be the last time it returns for this season, and the node is Fortress. To win, you have to score more points by capturing and defending the zones, and the hunt activates twice per match. Also this season we have the all new daily challenges available, so check each day by hovering over the banner playlist, and the current challenges will be highlighted below the notes description. We also have a new banner emblem and a new shader available. There is also two new seasonal weapons available, the stag bow and the guiding light scout rifle, and the returning armour from long ago, Destiny 1, is the companion set. Also available is the previous season legendary weapons and also previous season's legendary armour. Right, this week's exotic mission is Presage, and the exotic weapon that drops is the exotic scout rifle, Dead Man's Tail. This weapon is fully craftable, and this will be available as long as you complete the mission. This mission is fun to do with plenty of parkour and easy mechanics to complete in each area. So, if you missed out on weapons from the Season of the Chosen, this mission is definitely worth the grind. Also, this mission has some amazing weapons available, and all are fully craftable. But, sadly, this will be the last time of this season that you'll be able to farm this mission before the new season begins. So here is a list of the amazing weapons that is all farmable and all craftable. So starting with the best, we have the Callus Mini Tool. It's amazing in PvE content with any solar build and has a perk Incandescent. We have the Ostringer hand cannon. This is used a lot in PvP. Also we have the Hollow Denial Void Trace Rifle for PvE. The beloved sniper rifle that is used mainly in PvP. We have the Firefly Auto Rifle used mainly in PvP, but can be used in PvE. Also, the Out Remorse shotgun, used for PvE and PvP. The Drang sidearm, used mainly in PvP, but can be used in PvE. It's a sidearm. Nezarec's Whisper is a glaive, and that is used for PvE. We have the Bump in the Night rocket launcher. It's stasis. It's for PvE and was the meta weapon. So I'd store that one in your vault. You never know with Bungie when the next meta weapon's gonna be. So if you're a PvP guru or a god at PvE, I would not miss out on the opportunity to grind these weapons. The legendary dungeon this week is the Duality. So if you're wanting to do the dungeon flawless for the seal and fancy emblem, or if you're just after the exotic sword, the Heart's Broken. Also, the dungeon has some amazing mechanics to work out in each section and has some very good craftable weapons available. Also, on legendary difficulty, it's worth farming the boss for artificing armor, or if you prefer, to farm the boss on normal for legendary weapons. Here is a small table of weapons that are fully craftable. So we've got the Lingering Dread Stasis Grenade Launcher. We also have the Epicurean Fusion Rifle. This is in Void. There is a really good submachine gun that's called the Unforgiven. The Heavy Linear Fusion Rifle is called the Storm Chaser. That's in Arc. It was one of the meta weapons. There's a really nice new purpose pulse rifle that rolls with some quite good perks. And last but least, we have the heavy machine gun in solar called Fixed Odds. And of course, the exotic sword. This week's Grandmaster is one of my favourites. It's the one and only Mr. Lightblade. Some people fear him, but with the right build, this will be a doddle. This is purely for recommendations. So for Lightblade, I mentioned builds. I recommend an Omnioculus Hunter. He can make you invisible for the ships and for the lanterns. Also a Warlock, Arc subclass with the exotic chest piece, the Vesper. That works really well, especially for the first room. It blinds, it explodes, and you've got your grenades. And obviously your super. A Strand Titan works really well in there for healing or for survivability. If you're getting overrun with ads or champions, you can strand them up. So, the Grandmaster has champions, which is Barrier and Unstoppable, and mainly there is Solar and Arc shields. The threat is Arc incoming damage, and the adept weapon that drops for this week is the Arc Fusion Rifle, the Loaded Question. This week's weekly raid on rotation is the amazing King's Fall. This is a brilliant raid with lots of fun mechanics. There is plenty of parkour, and at the beginning the parkour is the ships that are all going in different directions, so I hope you like your jumping. For the ships, I suggest using the Eager's Edge sword, so this comes in super handy when you're just falling short on your jump. If you're doing the raid for the first time, I would suggest learning some of the easier mechanics before you actually go in. For the red border as well, you start this off at the beginning of the raid. Underneath the portal there is specific symbols. Those symbols are matched up with the symbols that are throughout the whole of the raid. Once you find the symbols and they match the symbols that you need, you shoot to highlight, and on completion of all unique symbols, all you need to do is kill the boss for the red border chest at the end. And, of course, not forgetting the chance of the Touch of Malice to drop. This weapon has also received a buff this season. And there is some amazing weapons that are craftable as well. So here's a table of all the amazing weapons that are craftable. We have the Doom of Chelchis Void Scout Rifle, brilliant for PvE and has some really good perks craftable. We have the Pulse Rifle Smite of Moraine, same again, brilliant for PvE and has some amazing weapon perks. We have the Midas Reckoning, which is the Arc Fusion Rifle. We have the Yasmin of Defiant Sniper, that is also used in PvP. And we've also got the Zealous Bane hand cannon in solar that also comes with incandescent or explosive payload. And last but least, we have the Stasis heavy machine gun called the Terminus. This also has some very good perks that can be used in PvE. So don't forget, this is the last week that you can actually farm this into next season, so it is definitely worth the grind to get some of these weapons before next season. Okay, last but not least, we have the Master Crota challenge of the week, and it is the easiest of them all, and this is at the lanterns at the beginning. The challenge is called Conservation of Light, and a lot of people that I've come across in LFGs seem to think that you have to enlight the lantern at every preserve station, and you don't. You just have to preserve the buff at every preserve station. My advice, what I do with my clan, is we always have one person from the very beginning to carry the enlightened buff. So if we are slow in particular areas and the time is counting down, we tend to light one of the lanterns with the enlightened buff. So that stops us wiping. And then we get somebody else enlightened, ready for another time. If we haven't made it to the next preserve in time, we've got another safety barrier there. If you do have somebody in your group that cannot keep up and keep dying or falling down holes, you could actually get that person to be the first person to be enlightened and leave them at the beginning. And then if you're running out of time preserving the buff, you've got that person at the beginning as a safety net to then increase your time. So, happy farming, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the breakdown of all the challenges and what's happening. This Week in Destiny. If you could please hit the subscribe button, this means a lot so that I can make my channel grow and make more content. So, have a good week farming, guys. The new season is rapidly approaching, and I will speak to you soon. So, laters.